validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. We've got us an interesting show today. We're going to be talking about the hidden cost women face, understanding this girl tax thing, in addition to a few other things. But I wanted to talk about that today because, you know, we are a pretty interesting podcast here on This and That. We talk about this, that, and everything in between. And in that, we talk about everything that impacts our ability to make and save and invest money, everything that interferes with our relationships, everything that interferes with our friendships, everything that interferes with our ability to be successful as individuals. We cover these things on the show, and I thought that this was a pretty good topic to talk about today. Special shout out to those of you that's watching us on Twitch and Twitter. All of you have the opportunity to click these links in the comment section. We've got one for Twitch. We've got one here for Twitter. We also got another one here for YouTube. If you want to come onto the show in real time and say what you got to say about the topic, you can always approve the mic, approve the camera, and come on in real time. Otherwise, in both scenarios, keep your comments and observations appropriate. I don't care if you disagree with me. You can put your disagreements onto the show. It is an open mic and an open-minded forum, so you can say what you want to say on the comment section. Just note, we do have some individuals that pop in that are not quite of the age of 18 yet, and we want to kind of show them a little bit of censorship and decorum. So keep it a little bit clean. But I mean, this is an adult podcast, open to the public though. So, you know, we're going to try to maintain a certain level of appropriateness with our communication. But this is going to be a controversial topic. So I had partway through when I start talking about this, some of the ladies might want to chime in and throw up a couple middle fingers. And I completely encourage that. By all means, make it happen. We are live 7 nights a week. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you come along. Make sure that you utilize those reaction buttons. We're on the 16:9 format, so you should be able to see those reaction buttons on the right side of the screen there. And we typically start around about the same time. So you will see us on every night of the week. Tomorrow we have our members only scenario where we're going to be doing questions and comments from the fans. And then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to talk about ways to make, save, and invest money so that we can make money for us. This is a primarily male-driven podcast from the male's perspective, but it's not like a red pill, blue pill, black pill kind of thing. I come from uniformity, so I talk about both sides of the field. If roles were reversed and a different individual was in the same position, the same expectations should apply. And if it doesn't, it's not uniform. And if it's not uniform, it doesn't make sense. So I try to make it make sense, or try to figure out why we won't allow ourselves to make it make sense and allow ourselves to be disparaged or encouraged to behave in a fashion, or expect people to behave in a fashion where we're not going to behave in the same fashion when the responsibility falls on us. They always give you this, it's an age-old saying that I was taught from my mother: be careful how you treat people, because you never know who's going to be there to bring you your last glass of water. Meaning that, you know, if you do somebody dirty throughout your life, you never know who's going to be there to come and help you. And the person that you did the worst to is more likely to be the one that will save you in your most dire moment. Recognizing some of the fans that come on a regular basis. Special shout out to Mr. Satellite. We got a nice little intro for him. He's supposed to give me $50 for it, but he hasn't done it. But I'm going to give him his intro anyway. Here's your hype.
I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
Bayside got one as well. Bayside threw me one. Bayside they gave me $50. I got him a little bit more matching of his style, but you know, I really appreciate my fans as they come in. So I actually really need to make one for Usman, because Usman and Carl, they come through, but I have to think about how I would present Usman's. Either way, let's go ahead and get tonight's show started. Let's start with recognizing that we're going to take you down this journey through some numbers. We're going to give you guys some stories and the real life impacts of what it means to pay extra. And ladies, this is about paying extra just for being a girl or a woman. Now, whether you're tuning in at home or if you guys are on your commute, joining us as we speak, I really appreciate you guys coming. We want you guys to hear what we got to say, but I also want to hear from you. So if you guys have the opportunity, a lot like Mr. Satellite gave his shout out, if you're on Twitch or Twitter, and especially on YouTube, if you guys comment into the show, I should receive your comments. And if your comments are positive, you should see them on the screen at the top of the screen. So make sure that you throw in your comments and responses. Special shout outs, rip your city, your friends, your loved ones, your country. And I'll throw those up there onto the screen there. Just keep it appropriate. Now, throughout the show, I'll be asking you guys to share your experiences, reactions, and ideas. So, you know, let's get started. I really want to see what you guys have to say. And we're going to begin with the basics, though. The term girl tax, as you've seen at the heading of the show, the term girl tax isn't officially an economic term yet, but it's a powerful way to describe a phenomenon that's been studied for years, identified mostly as the pink tax. The pink tax refers to the extra amount women and girls pay for products and services that are nearly identical to those marketed to men, but priced simply because they're targeted at females. Um, and I've seen a lot of this over the years, and I just never paid any attention to it. And then when I looked at the topic, I was like, oh, this is dope. Let's look at the numbers. In 2025, a comprehensive study by the National Women's Law Center found that women pay on average 13% more for personal care items like razor, shampoo, or deodorant. For example, a pack of women's razors can cost like $8.99 in some locations, while the men's equivalent, meaning same packaging, same brand style, same quantity and proportions, is just $6.99. Even though the only difference is the color and packaging. One is going to have like male colors like black or gray, silver, blue, something like that, black with a blue stripe on it in plain packaging. And then the women's stuff is going to be like pink and all kinds of bright and vibrant colors and pretty images all over the place. Like a man's probably just the package with the brand logo on it at best. And then the women's has got like this whole lavish packaging in the back that makes it look amazing for an extra $2. Women's clothing on average costs 8% more than men's clothing. Girls' jeans, for instance, are 13% more expensive than boys' jeans, according to 2025 reports by Retail Pricing Consortium. And the ironic part about this is, like, take, for example, shoe sizing. A woman's foot is the same size as a man's foot, depending on the size and the weight of the person. The shoe size is sized differently. A woman with a size 8 or size 9 women's shoe is almost the same size as a man's 12 or 11 size shoe. A woman's size 8 or size 9 shoe is the same as a man's size 9 or size 10 shoe. They reduce the numbers to make it seem like the women have smaller feet, but they don't. If you're sitting next to your partner right now, and if that doesn't necessarily have to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your wife or your husband, it could just be the person that you're dating on the side. If you put your hand and your foot up against your partner, more often than not, if you guys are about the same build, you're probably going to have the same hand size, same foot size, but your shoe size is going to be completely different. You guys might be the same build, and the man has a 32 or 34 inch waist, and the woman's got a size 4 or a size 8. Bro, she can fit your 34-inch pants. She's a size 34. Don't let the tag on the girl's clothes fool you. But they do this to make women seem smaller. They put extra effort into making the clothes seem more lavish for the girls to buy it, and they put extra price on it. Products that are marketed to girls. Think things like backpacks, bikes, and even toys. They're 7% more expensive than those for boys. The decorations on them are more enhanced as well. All you got to do to sell something to a boy is put a girl next to it, and that's a wrap. But you have to paint the picture for the girl so that the girl can buy it, and it costs more. It's crazy. As highlighted in 2025's Consumer Report investigations, women have haircuts that are 40% more expensive than men's. And dry cleaning and women's shirts can cost 15% more than men's, according to another survey in 2025 by American Service Industry Associations. So with all of this going on, how many of you have noticed that these price differences in your own shopping actually occurs? If you have, type "I've seen it" in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? This is something that everybody has experienced, and we have not done anything about it. And when I tell you guys it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. The fact is that you're printing a logo or an emblem or an image on this packaging, regardless of whether or not it's targeting men or women. But women are going to make more impulse buys than men, and you're going to up that price for the cost of ladies. Makes no sense. Now, the reason why we talk about stuff like this is because we really could do something about it as the consumer, as the people who spend money. Instead of buying something because it looks cute, ladies, we could buy something because it's practical. You need a set of razors. Instead of going and buying the razors from the women's section, you go to the men's section and buy the razors because they're the same razors. It's not like it's smoother, softer, more comfortable for the females in comparison to the men. If you go take your husband's razors or your boyfriend's razors and start using those to shave your legs, guess what? Your legs will be shaven with no nicks and no cuts. The only thing that you must buy, that there is no choice in buying, is the feminine products for that special time of the month that men don't have to deal with. Outside of that, everything else, shampoos, deodorants, lotions, everything else that is sold to men, you could get that from the men's section for $2 to $4 less. Now, the funny thing about that is that while it's not going to be as pretty, you control the market by putting your money where your values are. You want equal cost for similar products instead of buying it for a higher price because it's packaged for girls. You buy it for a reasonable price, regardless of who it's packaged for. That's going to force the person that's selling the product that recognizes that, oh, the exact same big razor that's $2 more for women isn't selling. We're going to lower the price. Guess what happens? The big razor for women become the same price or less than the big razor for men because everybody's buying the big razor for men. That's just how things work. A lot of men that are attracted to the tomboy behavior, you don't have to buy the girl jeans that cling to your body and show off all your assets. You could just buy a pair of boy pants that fit and still be attractive, because when girls originally started wearing pants, men were the ones with pants and women just put on men's pants, and they still looked exceptionally attractive back in the day. We're talking about in the 80s, we're talking about in the 70s, 60s, 50s, before pants were designed to enhance a woman's figure. If you just put on some basic pants, if you got a body, you got a body. If you don't got a body, emphasize your face, because you don't really want people looking into your cracks anyway. Now, let's see how the widespread experience actually occurs. Let's put this into perspective. The girls' tax isn't just a few extra dollars here and there. It's a cumulative burden that adds up over a lifetime. Recent estimates from California Department of Consumer Affairs put the annual extra cost at $2,381 per woman. Other national studies suggest that it's at least $1,300 extra per year. Over a woman's lifetime, the pink tax can add up to as much as $188,000 in California, according to the 2025 state report. That's a lot of money. Nationally, some economists estimate that a woman pays over $257,000 more than a man for clothing alone over their lifetime. Now, keep in mind, she buys way more than we do, but this is not even counting personal care, services, and other essentials. For single mothers who head 90% of single parent households, typically, because less than 20% of the children are given to the men, no matter how hard the men fight for the kids. These extra costs are especially burdensome. Single moms spend about 40% of their income on goods, and the girl tax can mean the difference between making ends meet and failing and falling into debt. Can you imagine what you could do with an extra $2,381 a year? Share your ideas in the chat. Would you invest it? Because I know I would. Would you save it, or would you treat yourself? Shoot, if I had an extra $2,400 a year, I'd be flipping that with the dividend rotation strategy, turning 24 into $5,000 every year. I would be making money, make money for me. You understand? $250,000. If you're flipping that $250,000 over the lifetime, you should have $500,000. Around about the time that you're throwing 40 bands in and getting 80 bands out, or if you're doing 160 or 150%, You throw in 40 bands and get 90 bands out. You could take 60 bands and put it towards your standard of living and still have 30 bands to reinvest. And that is without re-upping or adding the payout as the new principal. So you could probably put 40 grand in and get back 100 grand if you're doing it right. So I would invest it. I don't know what you guys would do, but this is not just retail prices. Customs and tariffs also play a role. Imported goods labeled as women's items are often taxed at higher rates than men's. For example, wool overcoats. A woman's wool overcoat might be taxed at 64.4 cents per kilogram plus 18.8% of its value, while a man's overcoat is taxed at 38.6 cents per kilogram plus 10% of its value, according to U.S. Customs data from 2025. So shoes and accessories, similar disparities exist for shoes, handbags, and even athletic gear. So this means that even before products hit the shelves, women are paying more just because of their gender. So the girl tax doesn't wait until adulthood. And which is one of the reasons why we're calling it a girl tax. It starts the moment girls begin using personal care products, wearing girls specific clothing, or even playing with girls specific toys. Hygiene products such as girls' razors, shaving cream, and even deodorants are often more expensive than boy versions. A 2025 study by the Youth Consumer Advocacy Group found that parents spend 15% more hygiene products for their daughters than for their sons. Clothing girls, especially girls that are trying to trend with their friends and whatnot, is not only more expensive, but also often less durable. So they're not even buying quality stuff. You're not even getting what you're paying for. It just looks cute, right? And what looks cute actually is more sexually attractive. So you're attracting more people that's desiring to sleep with you, and you're spending more money to have more people want to sleep with you, but that's not actually what you want. This means that parents have to replace items more frequently. Boys are like, bump it. I actually have one of the students that I talk to right now that's actually in Thailand, and he is able to wear the same clothes that he was wearing 5 or 7 years ago. I actually looked at in my closet and found pants that I still fit from back when I was 16. Men don't have to change what they got going on. Women have seasonal shopping, which actually makes the situation worse. Think about the toys and activities. Girls' toys, sports equipment, and even school supplies are often priced higher. Bro, pens, paper, notebooks, this is all the same stuff that everybody else uses. Why is it costing more? Specifically because it is designed to target a female. A girl's bike, for example, can cost $20 more than a boy's bike, even if the only difference is the color. So the difference between the blue bike without the dip in the bar versus the black bike with the bar going straight up underneath the seat could be a difference of 25 or 30 bucks. The difference between the pink bike with the tassels and the green bike without the tassels, 25 or 30 bucks. Shoot, my daughter's gonna have all boy stuff until she grown. It could be like, oh, that's not what she's supposed to wear. Well, when I find a seamstress that's going to be making custom clothes for girls, that's when I'll start paying extra money. Look, parents, guardians, and anyone who shops for kids, have you ever noticed any of this stuff? Because when I used to go to, I'm a boy. So when I go to the store, I go and buy stuff. I don't really pay attention to the stuff that girls are supposed to have. But when I go to the store and I try to buy things, I do look at the price, and I be looking at two different items for this with the same brand on them, but have different prices on them. And I'm examining these items, and I don't understand what the difference is between the one on the left and the one on the right, but there's a price difference between the two, but they look exactly the same. And I could never figure out why they did that. I just grabbed the cheaper one because I didn't care what it was. I got it for what it was, what its purpose was, not the way it looked. So based on what I needed it for and how much it cost, that's why I bought it. So if it served its purpose, I don't care what color it is, what design it has. But ironically, some women will say it's not attractive enough. It's not cute. It's ugly. And as a result, they won't pay for it because it's dull. It's ugly. Share your thoughts and stories and stuff in the chats. Let us know what y'all think about this scenario. Because I know that after watching today's show, you guys are going to go off and stop off at a Walmart somewhere and go into the toy section or go into the clothes section. You're going to go and look at a t-shirt for a girl and then go look at a t-shirt for a guy and be like, God dang, he was right. This is the exact same shit, except one's got a different pattern than the other one. And it's the exact same shit, probably by even the same designer. And the price is different. Go to the shoes and be like, oh snap, this shoe and that shoe, same generic shoe, not even a name brand shoe, but this shoe is cheaper than that shoe. And looking at the sizes are numbered differently, but if you put the shoes back to one another, you're like, yo, dope, they're actually around about the same size. So there's a massive price difference, different size difference, but it's the exact same kind of shoe. Single mothers are hit especially hard by the girl tax because with 90% of single parents in households headed by women and single moms spending about 40% of their income on the goods, every dollar counts. So the combination of wages where women still earn about 20% less than men in different work environments, according to the Economic Policy Institute, because there are certain jobs that don't pay as much as other jobs. And the women are picking a lot more humanities and less physically manually strenuous jobs. They're looking at not making as much as men based on career choice. This sucks for them because things cost more for essentials. And this means that single mothers are more likely to face financial hardships. The high cost of menstrual products, which are still classified as a luxury item, it's not even classified as a necessity in some states, means that single mothers and their daughters can't afford a lot of the things that women basically need. And this leads to what is classified as a period poverty, where women and girls miss school or work because they can't afford basic hygiene products. And if you've ever struggled to afford essentials because of these extra costs, I definitely want you guys to tell us your experiences on how this particular dynamic has negatively impacted your ability to function in this country. Now, the girl tax isn't just about money. It's also about the extra time, effort, and emotional labor that women and girls are expected to be put into. Safety costs, such as women often paying more for transportation like ride shares or taxis to feel safe at night. They may also invest in security devices, self-defense classes, or even just mental energy of planning a safe route. Guys just go and buy a Glock 19 Australia or a Smith & Wesson compact and just make it do what it do. I'll walk down that dark alley. I brought extra mags today, but not so much so for the ladies. Ladies also have time and effort. The hours spent on beauty routines, shopping for the right clothes, and maintaining appearances all add up. And a 2025 survey by the Time Use Institute The Time Use Institute did this survey. They found that women spend an average of 55 minutes more per day on personal care than men. This is crazy. There's emotional labor involved in this as well, because women are often expected to be caregivers, professionals, and homemakers, all while looking good and being likable. This emotional labor is exhausting and often goes unrecognized. So, fellas, while you're listening to this show right now today, I want you to make sure that you go over to your female, no matter who she is, and no matter how you might think she look when she take off for makeup, and remind her of how beautiful she looks when she ain't got that makeup on. For you fellas that are dating this chick that takes extra time to get ready, and you are annoyed as fuck at the fact that she is still not ready yet, you need to make sure that you set the appointment 2 hours before the appointment and wait that extra hour and 45 minutes for her to get ready, so that you can still be on time and not be pissed off at her, because this shit takes a lot out of her to look good for your raggedy ass. So there's a lot going on here. And I tell you, ladies, when we come to this show, we talk about everything for everybody. We're not just a one-sided podcast, and this is y'all day. So if y'all want to chime in and do some feminist movements, today's the day to put your comments in. But listening to what these girls are going through, fellas, just so that they can ride that wave, they can look good, they can smell good, they can function in society, and all of the stuff that they're going through to make that happen. And we don't even notice most of this stuff. We just notice that she's late. We just noticed that we're in bed, ready for bed, ready to cuddle, ready to make it do what it do, wait for the magic to happen and all of this. And we're wondering why she's still in the bathroom for another 45 minutes before bed. Guys, y'all got to appreciate that. Y'all got to make sure that y'all let her know that her actions and efforts are valuable to you. That those women that are putting in effort to look naturally attractive, you got to value that. Now, ladies, on the other hand, we prefer you to be more natural than artificial. So anything that you've got to glue to your scalp or paste to your face, we would prefer that you not wear it anyway. So you're not putting in that extra effort for the sake of the man. So you can't expect the man to feel remorse for the fact that you feel more comfortable changing your appearance to something that is less vulnerable to your emotional self-esteem. While we are supposed to support you in your position, we are supposed to respect you and appreciate you and accept you for who you are. We're at the same time supposed to acknowledge that things that you do for yourself, for your own self-esteem, is not something that I'm supposed to put in extra effort to praise. For example, if I want a new surround sound system in my car and I'm going to put in 32-inch speakers and some 40-inch rims on some rubber band tires and tint the windows, you're not supposed to come and compliment me on how good my car looks, because shit, the car is a car. You feel me? Likewise, if you got Pocahontas hair going down your back and it took you 8 hours to get that put in, versus you just styling up your natural hair, I'm supposed to be able to provide you with extra compliments and let you know that I respect the fact that I appreciate the fact that you styled your natural hair. But the extra 8 hours you put into having hair braided into your scalp to go all the way down your back, and now I got to put in extra effort not to get the ends messed up, so that I don't got to spend an extra $2,000 to get that redone sooner. I mean, that's not something that a man is supposed to be able to be required to praise. But if you put in the effort to look beautiful, and we're supposed to compliment the fact that you look beautiful. But I still believe, and I've never changed my position on this, is that we're supposed to only compliment the women when they are appropriately attractive. When they are inappropriately attractive, when they are dressed in a fashion that is seeking negative attention, over sexualizing themselves, that as men that are looking for valuable women, we should not condone that type of behavior by complimenting, overly sexualizing yourself. Since women don't want to be sexualized by men, women should not carry themselves as advertisements of over sexualization, where you will then only be attracting men with bad intentions and then feeling bad about the fact that they're only being approached in a derogatory fashion because of the outfit that they're wearing. Yes, you have a freedom to wear whatever you want. Yes, you have the freedom to express yourself, but just because you have the right to do something does not mean that you should do it. I have the right to go into a Chipotle with an AK-47 that is unregistered, but that does not mean that I should. So we need to make sure that we pay attention to what we can do and what we should do, and then start doing more of what we should do and less of what we can do, and enjoy life without actually making ourselves look ridiculous or putting ourselves in compromising situations where we're being insulted by individuals that forces us to defend our integrity, our presence, our position. But quickly, because I got a lot of y'all coming in, and like and subscribe as y'all fall in. How many of you have ever felt the pressure to spend extra time or money on your appearance or your safety? Put your comments in there, because I know there's a lot of women that don't go out at night, or if they do go out at night, they've got the mace, the pepper spray, the taser. They've got extra people coming with them. They got to pay for a bigger car to bring more people. Women can't go to the bathroom by themselves. They got to take 2 or 3 of them with them when they go, to make sure that one of them don't come up missing. Like these things aren't cheap. Now, I understand how it is. After I started doing research for today's show, understand how it is. I was like, dang, I did not understand this until now. And now that I understand it, I'm like, fellas, we got to give some of these females, some of them now, not all of them, some of them, we got to give some of these females some props. But check this out, though. The girl tax doesn't just affect women, though, ladies. It also impacts anyone who shares expenses with the women. Okay. Now, fellas, I told y'all this is a male-driven podcast from a male's perspective. I am uniform about everything that I talk about, but ladies, this is not going to be a campaign that's only talking about you, because guess what? There's a thing called the girlfriend tax, and this is a term for the extra financial responsibilities that can arise in a romantic relationship, especially for the partner, often but not always the man, who is expected to cover more of the expenses. This includes paying for the dates, gifts, travel, and sometimes even sharing in a living cost or emergencies. There's a dating tax, which refers to the expectation that a man will always pay or primarily pay for dates and outings, and the girlfriend tax that expands this idea to include all ongoing financial responsibilities in the relationship. Compounded cost when men pay for women's products or services that are priced higher due to the pink tax. The girlfriend tax is compounded, increasing the overall financial burden on the household, where couples who handle these expenses in a relationship actually have a disadvantage when the experience isn't split. So, how do you handle being in a romantic relationship with an individual that has a higher cost to experience things? Now, fellas, I know that I've talked about this before, and I want to ask you this quick question. Do you split the cost? Do you alternate the cost? Or does one person usually pay for everything? Give me your response to this while I tell you real quick. We talked about a while back how bars and nightclubs and stuff on the dating game, right? They have this bias against the men, which is inverse to the consumer tax that women experience. Because if you think about, nightclubs have girls' night out, ladies get in free, and other such promotions throughout the week that encourages women to come to the nightclub, get in free before 11, and all of this other stuff. Then guys got to pay the $20 cover charge. Ladies drink free, and guys are paying $10 to $15 a drink. So to offset the $10 per person for everybody, the women get in for free and men pay twice as much. to cover the cost of every woman that walked in the building. They still got a maximum head count of 200 people, but they're going to make sure that there's more women in the room than men. And then the men who paid to get in are paying twice as much to get in. And every man that's in there is going to pay for twice as many drinks, or twice as much of the cost for the drinks than the women would have paid for. And then and this is still a biased scenario, but think about the fact that if you went to the club with a chick and she was covering a lot of this stuff, there would be less to pay for, because if she goes to the bar and orders 2 drinks for herself, or orders 1 tall double shot for herself, and she shares it with you, y'all are both drinking for free. But women would say, oh no, that's a cheap dude. But think about it. Think about it. Real quick, ladies. Have you ever thought about how much you cost your boyfriend? When we recognize, fellas, how much the women put in effort to look attractive for us. Look, both sides of the fence now. Is there something you can do besides sex with the guy that you can show him that you value the dollars that he's spending? Likewise, fellas, is there something that you can do that can show her that you value the effort that she puts into her existence? Let me know. Now, the girl tax is more than just an extra cost at the register. It's a symptom of broader economic inequality. We understand that because women are experiencing what they call a wage gap because of the difference in income between men and women based on the economic choices, we also understand that women are going to be experiencing double the disadvantage because of the lower wages based on the career choice and the higher cost of essentials. And we recognize that over the lifetime, the combination of the lesser wages and the girls' tax can mean that women have hundreds of thousands of dollars less to spend on education, retirement, or emergencies, which then puts the burden for women to find a higher valued man that has a higher standard of income to cover these expenses on behalf of the women, which is partially the reason why the man takes up 41% of his income to cover more than 50% of her expenses in order for him to be considered valuable to her. Look now, with inflation, these females said, hey, he's got to be $100,000 a year man. They were not wrong about the cost versus the value of the man. I only said that their priorities were skewed because they're only gauging the man and valuing the man based on his income, not based on his personality and his characteristics. If he's got a lot of money and a shitty attitude, they're still going to take the guy. But if he has a really good attitude and he doesn't make enough money, they're still going to abandon that opportunity. And I'm sitting over here thinking, why not find the guy that meets all of the mental and physical and emotional attributes that you're looking for, and then aid him in getting more finances, instead of just finding a guy that doesn't have anything except the finances and accepting that Chris Brown treatment, that Mike Tyson treatment, that Ray Rice treatment, that Quavo treatment, that Drake treatment, that Bill Cosby treatment. Let me keep going. The mystical treatment, that Diddy treatment, that R. Kelly treatment. Hold on now. All of these, Nick Cannon, with 14 baby mamas, all of these different high capital guys, because they're not always, just because they have a lot of money doesn't make them high value men. They're high capital guys. But if you're looking for a man that's exclusive to you, that will value and appreciate you and motivate you to being more successful, that's personality traits and characteristics. That's not his income. Just because he can afford to give you a lavish lifestyle doesn't mean that he's going to respect you as a person. And that's what I tell you, ladies, that y'all need to be paying attention to when you're looking for long-term commitment. Now, when you're looking for a jump off, when you're sampling all of the rides in the fair and getting paid for it at the same time, that's a different story. But when you're looking for long-term commitment, that's what you're looking for: characteristics and personality. Now, some states and countries have started to add and recognize this addressal of the pink tax. California, for example, passed a law in 2023 that banned gender biased products for gender biased pricing for similar products. other states are considering similar measures, but the progress is extremely slow because even though this law was put out in 2023, I gave you earlier in the show today a statistic from 2025, 2 years later, that shows that even in California, there is still a price difference. So, do you think the government should do more to address the girl tax? The government still hasn't addressed how single fathers and unwed fathers are not being treated equally in the courts. But do you think that they should do more to address this girl tax? What about policies? Would you like to see some policies that would improve the gender taxation? Share your thoughts on the comments with that as well. But let's hear from real people. So who has experienced the girl tax firsthand? Because I can tell you that I know this girl from named Sarah from Chicago. She's 28, and she noticed it when she was shopping for razors, and the men's razors were cheaper and worked just as well. So she started buying men's razors for herself and her daughter. Mariah is 35, single mother from Texas. And as a single mom, every dollar counted. So she had to buy her daughter school clothes, and it frustrated her to see the girls section. And looks like she found everything over there was more expensive than what she would get for the boys. James is a 40-year-old father of 2 from New York. And he never realized how much more he was paying for his daughter until he started comparing prices. And it's not fair, and it adds up fast. So in addition to these people, do you guys have any stories about girl tax? I want you guys to share your information in the comments, because I definitely want to hear from you. We have to understand that this is the first step. But what can we do to offset and fight back on the girls tax? First thing that we can do, Mama always said, put your money where your interests are, so that a lot of the most richest investors in the world, you hit them in the pockets. Real quick, y'all, my homeboy flew in. Bayside is here. I did tell y'all, let's go ahead and throw Bayside a nice... I told y'all, I said the one I did for Bayside was a little bit more blending to Bayside's profile. I didn't find satellites shooting across the sky, but I definitely found a bunch of beaches and a bunch of water. Mr. Satellite told me the other day, he was like, if you make me a better video, I'll give you fake $100. I was looking at Satellite, shoot, you need to give me a real $50 first. I'm glad you love it, man. I'm glad you love it. Some fans are going to be throwing me $50 so that they can get they intro in here when they dive in every day. That'll be a trend. I don't know if you've been able to follow throughout the show today, Bayside, but we were talking about the pink tax, which is the girl tax, where girls are being taxed on their feminine products. And that leads to the girlfriend tax, because when guys start taking over the financial responsibilities of females, and those females end up costing the men more money, not because the females want to, but because when the men start buying the feminine products across the market, they start experiencing that tax. And a lot of people, parents, husbands, are starting to realize that they're spending a lot more money on the product just because it is targeting females, as opposed to buying a product that is durable, that is usable specifically for its purpose and design, where you're not buying something for the sake of durability. You're buying something specifically because it's targeting girls. I actually asked this question, and since I got another a man on the channel, since Mr. Satellite dipped out real quick, I kind of want to ask the same question to you that I was going to ask Mr. Satellite when I started the show. And guys, y'all can chime in as well, especially those of you that are on Twitter and Twitch. Here's a question. When we was kids, I know all of us fell off the seat, right? Oh, hey, you know me. I'm always throwing up an excellent topic. It's always a food for thought kind of topic that actually starts talking about, because this actually impacts your ability to save and invest. Because if you're spending unnecessary money on something just because it's a market target, not because it is a beneficial product, then you might actually be able to save a lot of money on everyday products that you could buy from a different target, from a different market. For example, everyday products, socks, clothes, shoes, razors, shampoos, soaps, deodorants, stuff that you buy from the store that is not gender exclusive. If you bought it from the opposite gender, it might be cheaper, up to $5 cheaper, depending on the item. And when you think about these things, you're like, well, shoot, everything that I'm buying is costing so much money. The only thing that you can't get for guys that exists for girls, well, I mean, you have the adult diapers, but beyond that is the feminine products for that time of the month. So, pads and tampons and stuff is like the only thing that you have no choice but to buy that at whatever price that it is. But everything else that men use, that women also use, if you go buy the male's version of it, it will be just that much cheaper for you, which actually would save a few dollars, which adds up, as I've said before, up to $2,300, $2,400 a year in some areas, which is like $250,000 over a lifetime that you could save on not buying the girl version of the exact same item. And that's where I led to the question that I was just about to ask you is, remember when we was kids, because I know all of us at some point in time as boys fell off the seat and hit the bar going across the top of the bike. Now, the girl's bike has that nice V on it. You used to see that on the Schwinn bike or just any girl bike. They have that V on it. But the boys' bikes got that bar across the front. Now, I have always asked myself, why do they not value the man's family jewels, giving the man something to destroy when he falls off of the seat? Because all of the girl's family jewels are internal. So she's not crushing nothing when she falls off that seat. Why didn't they paint the bike with the bar on it pink for the girls and the bike with the V in it blue for the boys and give us the and for anybody that says, well, they put that bar in the middle for stability because the boys are more aggressive than the girls. Right. So you're putting less equipment on the girl bike, making it less durable, painting it pink and charging $20 more, which brings us back to today's topic. Why are you charging more for less quality just because it's targeting girls? You're supposed to charge more for more effort into creating the product. You're supposed to charge more for more quality in creating the product. He said, access if you're wearing a dress. See, now here's the funny thing about that, because not a lot of women like to wear dresses anymore. But wait, hold on. If they're riding on the seat, they slide off the seat, they're wearing a dress, they're not hitting the bar because there isn't a bar there. That doesn't change the fact that the boy that's wearing pants, the pants is cheaper than the dress. The boy's bike is cheaper than the girl's bike, but the boy busts his family jewels on the dress and the girl does not. Still doesn't make sense. Because think about this, the dress. Okay, you're from my generation. I can tell. So you remember Lil Jon? Yeah. Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Yeah. Okay, now you remember them long white tees? What? Put that on the girl, it's a dress. Now, why the hell is that Fruit of Balloon shirt for the dude $15? But if you put some ruffles on that bitch and make it a girl thing, take in the waist a little bit, and as a same damn shirt turns into a mini skirt and is priced at $100, right? Basically, I said, I'm curious, do girls' clothes cost more than men's clothes? Yes, they do. Actually, let me go back and tell you what those numbers are, because you weren't here for that. I want you to really see exactly what the dynamic was with the close gap. So make sure that y'all like, subscribe as y'all coming into this, because y'all need to share this with folks that didn't notice. If y'all know somebody that's buying stuff for his girl, or if y'all know something that y'all know somebody that's buying something for their children, y'all parents, y'all need to share this information, because they might not know that you're spending extra money unnecessarily for the girl brand instead of buying the boy brand. And it is the same quality of stuff, right? Now, where is it? Hold on. Let me go back up a little bit further. So, girls' toys, sports equipment, and school supplies. You got girl bikes that cost $20 more than boys' bikes. Furthermore, you have 15% more. They're spending 15% more on hygiene products for girls than what they do for boys. Let me go up even further. There is you're looking at, when it comes down to overcoats, they're talking about 64.4 cents per kilogram plus 18.8% tax on a woman's coat to ship it in with the tariffs, versus 38.6% for the same coat, 10% taxes for the same coat, just because it's the difference is that it's labeled shipped in as a girl's coat versus a boy's coat. Single moms spend about 40% more on stuff for the girls. And let's go all the way back up. We got to start at the top of the hour, where women's dry cleaning costs 15% more than men's dry cleaning. Women's haircuts cost 40% more than men's haircuts. Backpacks, bikes, toys, 7% more expensive. Girls' jeans, for instance, are 13% more expensive than boys' jeans. Women's clothing costs and regular average everyday things, 8% more than men's clothes. The women's pack for razors is $8.99, while the exact same pack of razors is $6.99, and the only difference between the two packages is the color. 13% more for personal care items. That's going to include the razors, shampoos, and deodorant. Yeah. So that's why I was telling folks, I said, look, now y'all don't understand. Like, I know that some of these women are not gold diggers when they're looking for a man that can afford the cost of taking care of a woman. But a lot of the times the women are just not prioritizing the man itself when they're making that assumption, when they're choosing the guy based on his income instead of choosing the guy based on his personality. But the women are not wrong when they're saying that the girls are not wrong when they're saying that they need to find that a man that makes over 100,000 a year, because that is where the cost of living is coming from. So where are we at? The girl tax is more than just an extra cost at the register. That's what I was telling you guys when you walked in, because after we started talking about the wages and impacts over the lifetime, we were talking about what do we do to make the change, because this is crazy. Like, women are paying, the cost of being a woman is more expensive than the cost of being a man. But the also, you have to understand that while the cost of being a woman is more expensive than the cost of being a man, the men don't buy as much stuff as women. So think about the difference in the price of the item per item, and then think about the frequency of how many times that a woman buys that item. How many times have you bought a razor in your life versus women buying razors every month? How many times have you bought shampoo versus women buying shampoo every month? Sometimes twice a month, depending on how much hair they have. How many times have you as a man bought an outfit for yourself versus how many times a woman buys an outfit in a month for themselves to probably only wear once and never wear it again? How many times has a woman bought something with the intention to wear it, put it in their closet, never wore it. And ladies, while y'all watching this podcast, go through your closet and start popping tags on outfits they've never worn yet and start putting it in your outfit lineup for the week, because men don't buy nothing they don't put on. Now think about all of the money that it costs to be a woman, and then think about all the money that's being wasted when the women don't use the stuff that they bought. So you think it's $250,000 worth of necessities that women spend over a lifetime versus probably another $250,000 worth of luxuries that the women pay for because they thought they were going to use it, but they never got around to it. Ain't that some nonsense? So a woman could cost a man $500,000 in a lifetime to be in a relationship. Now, here's the question, ladies. I want to ask y'all, because I got a lot of y'all popping up on the show tonight. What are y'all doing for the man to earn that $500,000 that he's spending on you over a lifetime? And don't say sleeping with him now. Now, when you start talking about, well, what does a man bring to the table? Well, I save you $250,000 over the course of your lifetime by buying all the stuff that you need. So what are you doing for me? That's a good question. Now, that's a good question. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this wasn't to pick at the girls about the fact that they're not doing as much as they should in 2025 for the valuable men. The point was to point out that, ladies, that you guys do have a higher expense. And one of the things that y'all can do to change that expense, because that's just where we was about to go when Bayside first got in, is first make yourself aware that there is, in fact, an existing girl tax. There is a pink tax. So you want to start by shopping smart. You want to compare prices. You want to buy gender neutral. And if you can't find gender neutral, just go buy the man's version of the same product whenever possible. Because if it's going to do the same thing, then get the one that is the cheaper one. Don't waste your time on getting it just because it's a girl. You can go get you a Gillette razor that just as much, if not more, than the pink version of the Bic razor and save you $3 to $5. You want to support fair pricing. You want to choose brands and retailers that price fairly and avoid those that engage in gender biased pricing. So you want to make sure that when you go to the store and you go shopping, you're not buying for the name brand. You're buying for the quality, the durability. You're buying for the value in the product. You're not buying for the value in the name of the product or the brand attached to the product. Because one of the things that you have to think about with branding is that if I take my podcast logo and put it on your clothes, that's my brand. But the quality of the clothes that you're wearing, that's the quality of the product. If you're paying more because my logo is on your product, you're not paying for quality. You're paying for the design that's on the product. And you need to change your mentality from buying overly priced clothing just because it's Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Calvin Klein, or whatever the case may be. You need to be able to buy something because it is durable. You still look attractive in it, but it is durable. You might, for those of you who don't have the money to pay for dry cleaners, you need to buy more clothes that are machine washable, because unless you guys are out there washing stuff with your hands and feet in the backyard like they do in China, you're going to have to need a washer and dryer to wash your clothes, because who's going to want to pay $25 to wash 5 outfits at the dry cleaner when you can spend $25 to wash a bag of clothes at the laundromat? Or if you have a washer and dryer at the house, you can use one Tide Pod that your kid didn't put in his mouth and stick it into the wall, a whole load for 45 cents. If it's not dry clean only. So that's another thing that you're going to have to do, is make sure that the products that you're getting are suitable for your lifestyle in maintaining the clothes, which actually helps you save money on the maintenance and the replacement of clothes. If you advocate for change, you can contact a lot of your representatives and support legislation that bans the pink tax. But in banning the pink tax, you have to show support of the ban of the pink tax by no longer buying overpriced products. The same way a lot of people who stopped buying Calvin Klein because Calvin Klein made a racist comment back in the day, the same way people stopped shopping at Target because Target said something racist back in the day, the same way people was protesting about Donald Trump and then jumped on Donald Trump's bandwagon. You put your money where your interests are. So if you don't agree with the way something is being priced, everybody who disagrees with inflation should stop buying expensive shit. Point blank, period. You don't need milk. You want milk. The commercial back in the 90s and the 80s said milk does a body good. That was a commercial. That was not an FDA notification. You buy milk because you're used to it. You don't buy milk because it does anything for you. Yeah, they've infused vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin D into the milk, which is genetically modified. And remember back in the day when we didn't want to do anything genetically modified, now we encourage genetically modified. So that because we don't eat healthy and we don't get the vitamins and nutrients that we're supposed to have. So we go and get genetically modified items that has the vitamins and minerals in it, that the nutrients that we need, so that we don't have to pop vitamins. And the rest of us who continue to eat a piss poor diet in spite of the infused items, turn around and take a bunch of supplements on top of that just to balance the table. But we're wasting a lot of money on being different. There's certain things in every person's diet that you just can't get around. You want to be vegan all day, but you need that fish oil. you want to be anti-beef, but you need that magnesium. Okay. You don't want to eat anything with a pulse in it, but you need protein from the eggs and you need that tryptophan from the chicken and the turkey. So hold on now. Your body's starving and it needs what it needs, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do with it. But likewise, when it comes down to the products that we're buying and selling online these days, we're looking at the fact that we're unnecessarily buying things just because of the packaging, just because of the branding. Because haven't you noticed that Mongoose bicycles, because I know you know about these bicycles based on Mongoose and Schwinn, pretty expensive bikes in comparison to the next brand bike, right? But you can find that all Mongoose bikes are the same $500 a bike that it was in 1996. But you recognize that $40 next brand bike from 1996 is now $130 in 2025. But if it's pink, that same off-brand bike might be an extra $15, $20 more. And it has less features. You might have a multi-gear shift on the boy bike, but you just got tassels on the girl's bike and a basket on the front. Which, again, why the hell would you get a basket on the front? To put her purse in it? Really? Like, isn't that by? I've got a question, ladies. Because I've been seeing recently that men are starting to wear purses. They call them man purses or tote bags or whatever you want to call it. Men are starting to wear purses again. And I'm going to say again, because back in the 20s and 30s and 40s, men used to have purses. It used to be the thing. Those purses turned into briefcases. And then men stopped being professional and they no longer carry briefcases. Have you ever noticed, ladies, that your attire forces you to carry extra shit with you? Think about this. Men's clothes have pockets. Women's clothes don't have pockets. And because women's clothes don't have pockets, women have to do one of two things. They either have to carry a pocketbook or a purse, or use their bra as a pocket. So then let's look at the other thing as it pertains to this. You don't have the durability of tactical clothing to look attractive, even though irony is that you look more attractive in the boys' clothes. Because every woman can agree that if they've ever put on their boyfriend's outfit, he would say, "You look so sexy in that," right? You wore his button-down shirt, you put on his pants, and you fit his clothes better than he does, right? But the woman's version of it, less durable, less practical, and costs more money. I want you guys to share your stories, because the more we talk about it, the more pressure there is to change it. But I want you guys to really think about why do you put so much extra money into looking cute. Ideally, ladies, you're doing it for yourself, because the way that you want to look versus the way your man would prefer you to look, you battle against what would make him happy looking at you to please your personal desire to be happy with how you personally look. But it costs so much more money. It already costs a lot of money because it's branded for girls, but it costs even more to customize it the way you want it. And then you want your man to accept you the way you want to design yourself. And then a lot of women want the man to pay for that upkeep. Can you explain to me why? Why are you doing that to yourself? And then why are you making it his responsibility to help you do it? Like, let's really be real about it. Let's really be real about it. Because you could roll out of bed, no makeup, style your hair, put on some boy clothes, and walk out the door and be just as gorgeous as you would have been if you would have put on the same brand of clothes that has just a slightly different cut on it, no pockets, no practicality, no durability, but it's girl clothes, and cost you 40% more overall. To do what? What are you obtaining from spending that extra money? Because you only get one baby daddy at a time. You only get one husband at a time. You only experience one divorce at a time. So why are you putting in that extra 40% of expense, especially after you've already got the guy? Because looking attractive for the sake of your own self-esteem is the only other reason why you look attractive, besides to capture a man's attention so that he could take over this expense for you. So after you start dating a guy, and that's one of the things that I want to talk about as we continue on here. After you get the guy, you looked overly attractive to get the guy. So why do you still want to spend extra money dressing overly attractive without the guy that you got with you? Because you're hanging out with the girls. Weren't you spending that extra 40% to look attractive to capture the man that you have? So now that you got him, why don't you stop doing all that and just like dress normal, for Christ's sakes? Because, I mean, men's sweatpants look attractive on women. I'm just saying. What steps have you guys taken to fight the girls' tax? I want you guys to tell me what y'all got, what strategies y'all have been dealing with. Bayside said they want to know they still have it. You right. But let's think about it like this though. They want to know that they still got it. Let's put this to the test, ladies, while y'all are still watching the show real quick. For those of you that really want to know if you still got it, do you girls remember when y'all were 12, 13, 15, 16? Okay. Before you started putting on makeup, before you started doing your own hair, before you started shopping consciously to buy overly attractive outfits. Do you remember how many compliments you got out of society just by walking out of the house looking normal? Now, take that into consideration and try this. If you really want to know if you still got it, go to the store when you decide to waste money on stuff. Go and buy the outfit that doesn't emphasize your girlish figure. Go buy the outfit that does not in any way, shape, or form accentuates any of your feminine wiles. Don't put on any makeup. Do a basic hairstyle, whether it's a ponytail, get the hair out of your face. You could do it down and have her covering your face. It doesn't matter. Normal hairstyle, regular, not a updo, not a finger thing, not a curl, not like it looks like architecture drawn on your forehead because you've got an 8 head because your forehead's so big. You got to take a lot of your hair in your forehead to make your forehead look smaller. Not that, not all that. If you got to put, don't use edge control for 30 days. Don't use edge control for 30 days and just wear your natural head. If you got a mustache, you can wax that. If you got a unibrow, you can pluck that. But the natural you now, if you really want to know if you still got it, then don't put the 3-inch heels on. Don't the platform shoes with the 6-inch heel on it. Don't wear those. Wear flats, okay, or wear sneakers, okay. Be your regular short ass 4'11" self, okay. Don't put on a push-up bra. Don't put on any pads. Don't no water bra, nothing like that. Leave all that stuff out. Don't put on the waist trainer, the girder belt. Don't put none of that stuff on. Don't put on the butt pads in the back. Don't put on the tights with the extra butt cushion on it to make it look like you got a butt when you don't have one. Leave all that stuff out. And just be the natural, roll out of bed, take a shower, put on some men's deodorant, spray some men's cologne on because it's 40% cheaper. Take your ass outside and see how many men talk to you. Nah, 2 things is going to happen. You're going to get way more compliments and you're going to save 40% more money doing it. Now, if you still get the same amount of attention or more attention because you decided to be normal instead of overly sexualizing yourself, you'll come to find out that 1, it's a waste of fucking time and money. And 2, you don't need to put all that effort in to receive positive attention from a man. Bayside said, exactly, Xander. Like you said, I'm wearing men's sweatpants with tank tops. Super sexy. Look now, these women don't understand. He said, no makeup, just your natural you. Be the natural you. The birthday suit, because y'all got to understand, ladies, when a lot of people like doing it in the dark because they're subconscious about their body. But if you're capable of doing it in the back seat of the car, if you're capable of doing it in the bathroom in a nightclub, if you're capable of doing it on a park bench, then you're capable of doing it in the house with the lights on. And if you're capable of doing it in the house with the lights on, you're capable of wearing your natural body. You're capable of wearing normal clothes. One of the reasons why girls like Aaliyah was sexy back in the day was because she wore regular fucking pants, bro. That was the style of pants that was made in the 90s when she crashed that damn plane. That was it. She didn't have all her hoo-ha dilly hanging out in the front. That girl was petite. Aaliyah was, y'all remember, not Alicia Keys. Aaliyah, the one that was the really awesome singer that died in a plane crash. She was a really awesome singer. That girl had a petite figure, probably an A-B cup, something like that. She ain't really had that much butt, but she put on the baggy pants that Lil Jon and the East Side Boys wore, put on a decent belt, and wore her just a half shirt. And that's probably the only thing different because they don't even do half shirts no more. They got like a 1/8 shirt that goes right below the nipples and shows the bottom of the breast. And the girls call that attractive. But if you lift your arms, you just flash the dude. That is inappropriate, ladies. Y'all shouldn't be dressing like that. But that damn shirt, that all it is a collar with no sleeves. It ain't even a whole shirt. It's just like 20% of the shirt. That shirt costs more than a whole damn shirt. Do you understand why y'all spending so much money to overly sexualize yourselves? Just be natural. It's cheaper that way. You can get you a Fruit of Balloon shirt and wear the long white tee. You can wear that. And funny, that will probably, if you get the long right tee for the extra tall guy, that you could wear as a dress. If you're 5'2", you could wear that as a dress. And you ain't got to do nothing but roll up the sleeves and then put a belt around the waist. That's it. And get you some Skechers, some Reeboks, some Adidas, or some Nikes, and some socks. That's it. That is it. And you go outside and, oh, look at how cute she is. You don't realize that. And how much does that shirt cost? Like $10, $15? You might be able to find a pack of those shirts, like 8 shirts for $10. But go to the same damn Walmart, go to the same damn Payless, and go and buy a girl shirt that stops above the belly button. $55. I don't understand it now. I don't understand it. I told y'all when we come and we talk about what don't make sense. I'm not sitting over here picking on y'all because y'all women. I'm sitting over here telling y'all that as I explained to y'all over the past couple of months, how y'all could be putting away 40,000 a year if y'all found the right man that only made 40,000 a year instead of 100,000 a year, and you partner your money with his money. If you spend your money responsibly, you would have more money to save. And then with the extra money that you save, you would be able to put that money up into a stock option where you'll be living off the dividends. And with the 168%, look, I just finished talking Bayside. We sold Orchid Island. Well, we bought Orchid Island last week, Friday. They just paid dividends this weekend. It's up for sale right now. By Friday of this week, it's going to be sold. We're buying International Seaway. International Seaway should throw me about $300 for the one trade. Okay. And we doing trades like this all year long. And these females could be taking $1,000 and turning it into $5,000 in no time flat. These females could be taking $40,000 and be turning it into $120,000 in no time flat. But you don't got an extra dollar to spend on investment because you're spending so much money on how good you look. Women used to hate it when I came on a podcast and talk about how they was wasting money because they felt like I was bashing them. But look at the statistics, ladies. Y'all could be beautiful and spend less money on being beautiful if y'all went natural and went practical. Because then think about this. Y'all remember the pocket purse, right? The pocket change purse, the change purse, the little bitty little coin purse that everybody, including men, used to have that, right? Big Mama used to have that in her purse right next to the peppermints and the Band-Aids, right? Think about the fact that all you need is something big enough to hold your wallet, maybe one credit card and $40 in cash and whatever change you haven't spent yet. That's all you need to take with you. And if you had pants with pockets in it, you put it in the front pocket so nobody picks your pockets from the back, and you ain't got to worry about nothing coming up missing. But you damn sure wear them short shorts that got your butt cheeks hanging out in the back, where the bottom of the back pocket is hanging out of the thing, and then you stick your cell phone back there where the pocket is only holding 20% of the phone. If you bend over, the cell phone fell out your back pocket and broke your iPhone. Why your iPhone ain't in a pocket deep enough to cover the iPhone? Put you on some boy pants, stick that iPhone in your front pocket. Guess what's in your front pocket? Your full size iPhone 16 Pro, your Glock's compact, 2 mags in that same front pocket, bro. But if you put on girl jeans, you can't even put your cell phone in your back pocket. You can't put your ID in your front pocket. Closed too damn tight. You can't put your keys in your pocket. Your clothes too damn tight. Since your clothes is too damn tight, where you putting all your money? In your chest. Bayside said, bro, she don't even need shoes. Men still holler. You right. You right. We ain't even gonna go there. We gonna talk about the fact that, bro, if a man has to walk out looking 100, a woman can walk out in her underwear, barefoot, and 5 dudes will park the car. No cap. No cap. No cap. You okay, so y'all understand, like, they got the lingerie is always made out of silk and satin and sometimes made out of lace. It's only made that way so that the women can be sparkly, because men are like crows. We like shiny shit. So if you put the girl in something shiny, the guy's going to want to sleep with the girl. That's where the lingerie comes from. But if you get the regular ass pajamas, the regular pajamas, the his and hers pajamas, the only thing different between his and hers is the slim fit cut to it. Hers costs more than his. So why don't you buy 2 his and put 1 on her, and then both of y'all got the same damn outfit and save $20? You feel me? Special shout out to Max the Poser. I really appreciate Max for diving in. He's another one of those guys that comes in, drops in, in on a regular basis. He said, I like mangoes or Kanye's. I like mangoes. But yeah, this is what we're looking for. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for the practicality in the decision-making process. Now, we've already said that because women are not the only ones that impulse buy. Men impulse buy too, but men impulse buy in different ways. Men impulse buy by buying stereo systems for the house, guns. Men's buy accessories for the cars. Men soup up the cars. lawn equipment, building materials. Men do things differently. Women accentuate everyday stuff. Marketing is designed to attract women because women spend more money than men on things that are not practical. Okay, men do waste money on non-practical things, but women spend more money than men on non-practical things. Then what marketing does, because everything is sexualized in our society, marketing then men simply by putting an attractive woman in front of the product. That's all they do. You want a man to buy a beer? Okay, the only beer I can tell you right now today, and Bayside, you can co-sign on this, the only beer that we have ever seen that was not promoted by a bunch of half-naked women is Dos Equis. The only one. Budweiser had hot chicks at the football game. Miller had hot chicks at the basketball game. Coors had hot chicks at the football, the basketball, at the tailgating party. You know, Dodge, Ford, Chevy always has some hot chicks standing in the car, getting in the car, getting out of the car. You know, there's always, bro. I would always watch the Chi Grow because the other one, and then when you think about like tools, do you ever see a hot chick handling buzz saws and shit, chainsaws and shit? No, but if they want to sell a buzz saw or a chainsaw or shit, they have a girl wearing Wrangler jeans. They take her flannel plaid button down shirt, open it at the top, take the bottom, tie it into a bow, have her Victoria's Secret bra exposed, and she's sitting there using the damn power tools. The man's going to buy the damn power tool, not because the power tool is good, but because subconsciously, if a hot chick sees him using that tool, she might come talk to him. This is marketing and advertising. Bayside said women spend more money on clothes to compete with other women. They damn sure do. That's the funniest part about it. Oh, Schultz Malt Liquor, Mad Dog 2020. OE. They don't have commercials about them, but I'm talking about the ones that really throw out those commercials. Because think about Patron, think about Alizé, think about Hypnotic. All of them, when they commercialized those drinks, they always had a party boat. Even if it was a rapper on a party boat, it was a one guy or five guys on a boat with 50 girls almost naked. They always painted that picture that if you buy this bottle of Patron or you buy this bottle of Hennessy, that you the man. And if you're the man, women will flock to you. That's the perception that they gave with marketing. Nightclubs are the same way. When I told you guys earlier about what they do with the ladies drink free, ladies get in free, girls night out, and then the guys go to the club. It's a building full of women because a man will enter a building with 40 women in it, but a woman will not enter a building with 40 men in it. So they encourage the men to spend more money by incentivizing the women to get in free or to get in at a reduced cost. Then they offset the expenses of the company by making the men pay for the difference. And then if the man interacts with the girl, he might benefit from his ability to go into that club, but the business itself made money off of baiting the men in by utilizing the women. Society has incorporated this requirement for men to pay for the expenses of women. I've given you guys this story on a regular basis. Guy meets girl, guy bribes girl with date, guy spends a bunch of money at the restaurant for the date, guy spends a bunch of money on every date after that to get the girl to commit to the guy. Now the guy's paying a monthly allowance to the girl to cover the girl's expenses. Then the guy spends a third of his income on the engagement ring, half of his income on the wedding, and then spends the rest of his life during the marriage paying for the girl. Now, the cost, we said 41% of the man's income. So for a man to find a woman that he wants to spend the rest of his life with, he has to give up half of his estate. Then just to pay for her on a regular basis. Then if the shit goes south, she takes half of whatever's left, which means that she ultimately benefited 75% of the man's lifetime estate if she left him. And that's why when the women leave, the man's income increases by 40%. And the woman's income decreases by 21% because women are expensive, believe it or not. And that's and one of the things, like some women say that men are broke, cheap, misogynistic when men say I'm not paying for a woman's upkeep because you're putting extra effort into overly sexualizing yourself for the sake of other people, because once you start looking like you're single when you're not, it costs extra money to look single when you're not single. And you're not even doing that for me because you're getting all dressed up. You're spending 2 extra hours to look attractive. And then you're leaving the house without me. I'm going to work. You're going somewhere else. So I'm not benefiting from how you look. Somebody else is benefiting from how you look. Right. But I'm supposed to pay for that. To say what? That I have an attractive woman at my house that I can't benefit from. I can't see the attractiveness because when she comes home, she takes all that stuff off. She wants to relax in the house, right? She wants to feel comfortable in the house. So the same sweatpants and t-shirt that she's wearing, the same basketball shorts and halter top that she's wearing, the same long button-down shirt that belonged to me that she's wearing, that's all she was going to wear in the first place for me. So if that's the case, why the hell are you spending all that extra money on stuff that I'm not benefiting from? So when a man puts his foot down and says, well, I'm not paying for the upkeep because I'm not benefiting from the upkeep, women get mad about that. But ladies, think about, you're paying 40% more for your upkeep than what a man would pay for the exact same upkeep. You now recognizing that it costs way more money to buy the girl brand of the exact same shit for the exact same upkeep. Now we're going to say, you know what? I'm not going to spend that much money on my upkeep. Instead, I'm going to buy the man version for the same shit so that I can maintain my upkeep for less. And other things that's not necessary, you're probably going to stop doing now that we've talked about it, because why would you waste all this money on this stuff? What benefit do you have as women? Because if you don't want a mustache, you're gonna wax that bad boy off. But didn't I tell you? I think I remember you was on the show with me, you, Usman, and a couple of other people was on. I think Nico was on when I told y'all about that Black Magic. It was the no shave cream. It was a white bottle with the red label on it. And all you got to do is just take it and put it where there's facial hair, leave it up there for 2 minutes, take you a damp rag, wipe it off your face. All the hair is gone. That bottle might cost $5. Go get you some fucking Nair. $15 for the same type of stuff. It is just a hair removal product designed for women to take the hair off of places that women don't want hair. But you can go get you some Black Magic and do the same thing. Women's skin is not more sensitive than men's skin because we're both humans. Damn, $15. Yeah, it's $15 for a bottle of Nair. And it ain't even no big ass bottle of Nair neither, bro. They made the bottle skinny and long, right? But you can get you a big ass bottle of Dove for the same price or less. Look, when you go to the store, next time y'all go to the store, I want you to go to the men's shaving products. Go find something that says no shave hair removal product for a man. Look at how that bad boy, $5 or $10 for a 5 or 10 ounce bottle of stuff, 10 or 15 ounce bottle of stuff, 1 liter bottle of stuff, right? Then go to the women's section for the women's version of the same thing. $15, $20, $25, $30, sometimes for a smaller bottle of stuff. And all it is a hair removal product. Women's biology is not that much different than a man's biology. If you've got hair growing in places that you don't want hair, you just need a hair removal product. Take, for example, Rogaine. They got Rogaine for men and Rogaine for women. If a woman is dealing with male pattern baldness, notice they don't ever say female pattern baldness. It is called male pattern baldness because due to the excessive level of testosterone, men end up losing their hair at a younger age than normally expected, right? So for $55, you can get some Rogaine for 3 months of hair treatment that adds 2 to 3 inches of hair on your head. Ladies, y'all could do the same thing. It is not going to hurt you to take the exact same dosage. You just drop a little bit on the scalp, grows out the hair. It makes the hair that's growing more durable. But at the same time, think about this though. Guys that work out, y'all take keratin. Me and Mr. Pibbs argued about it for a long period of time about the keratin, because not keratin, is creatine. Creatine is what we argued about, because keratin actually helps the hair growth. Creatine helps with building muscle in the body, but taking too much creatine too often increases different hormones in the body that actually stunts hair growth, which is why you see a lot of bodybuilders with bald heads. Because instead of them stopping taking the creatine, instead they just shave their heads. Now, take the creatine out your diet, throw you a little bit of Rogaine into your diet, grow your hair back, and instead of having that Hulk Hogan hairstyle, you could have that Triple H at 50 hairstyle, where you can still shake your head back and forth. You see what I'm saying? One of the things that ladies don't understand, like women spend a lot of money. We ask women, why do you put fake hair in your head? Women say because it makes them look good, because they like the way they feel when they wear the stuff. But then think about you spending $500, $600, $800, $2,000, $3,000 a month to put that hair into your head. It's only going to last for a month to 6 weeks. And then you got to take it out. You got to wash your scalp. Some of y'all got to let your head rest for a week or two before you put it back up. Right. But you do this religiously. You never let a year go by without putting more fake hair back into your head. Now, when you're gluing the eyelashes, you're damaging the eyelashes when you have to pull those eyelashes off, so you don't have naturally long eyelashes as a byproduct of gluing the fake eyelashes to your face. You don't have the natural length of hair that you needed because the byproduct of gluing hair into your scalp. You don't have. Do you know that one of the reasons why a lot of women still have short hair, those women that wear wigs on a regular basis, is because your scalp never gets sunlight and oxygen. Funny, isn't it? You wear wigs because subconsciously you wish your hair was longer, but your hair would be longer if you use some keratin, maybe a little bit of Rogaine, or it's melatoxin is what it's called. Melatoxin 5%. So you don't necessarily have to buy the Rogaine product. You can just go buy you some melatoxin from like CVX or something for like $5 or $10 a bottle instead of $55 for Rogaine. So you can buy 10 times more for the exact same thing. And the melatoxin 5% will grow your hair out. The keratin and biotin will also strengthen it so that you won't deal with breakage and stuff. And then you use some like T-gel to get rid of psoriasis if you guys got dandruff or something like that. And you put all this stuff together, you're spending less money on these 4 or 5 items to grow your hair down your back. And the money that you're spending to maintain your natural hair is cheaper than the Brazilian weave that you buy at the hair supply store before you pay somebody $600 to put it into your head. So then when men say, why don't you go natural? Your argument is you like the way you look, but you're subconsciously changing the way you look specifically because you're not comfortable with the lack of length that you have, because instead of you putting forth the effort to grow the natural length to the artificial length, you would prefer to cut corners and pay extra money to get a quick fix. Now, on this show, we talk to you guys on a regular basis about how when you cut corners, you don't get the same results. In your relationships, when you cut corners and you find the finished product in a man, you're not respected and valued as much in the relationship as you would have been if you found the man and helped him become the success that you wanted him to be, so that he could share his success with you because you helped him get there. Versus finding the finished product and then expecting the man to share his success with you just because you're cute. It's not the same. You didn't earn it. You know, you don't even respect a person who did not earn the promotion on the job. So how can you then turn around and say, oh, you did not earn this spot, but you're entitled to the benefits of this position? So the full totality of this conversation is that the cost that the women spend is unnecessarily high. It's not fair for them, and it's not fair for the men. The men suffer from it because the men are dumb enough to put their money down on a table for the women that they value. Not saying that the women aren't worth the cost. It's just a stupid amount of money to pay for something just based on its packaging. You know, nothing against the women. It's just that the marketing tactic on this is just outrageously stupid for the average consumer to allow it to exist. Think about every car dealer that doesn't exist anymore. And think about why that car dealer doesn't exist. Because nobody bought the fucking car. Do you understand how many years Bronco stopped producing a Bronco just because OJ drove the Bronco after Nicole? Just because he drove the Bronco. He was accused of doing, and then after he was accused of doing, he drove the Bronco on national TV, and they discontinued the Bronco from 1991 until 2023. All it takes is for you to take your money out of a product. And if we all did this, because the wealthy is 1%, 23% of the population. The poor is everybody else, the other 77%. So if the other 77% of Americans put their money in the more affordable places, you would put a stop to inflation. We get pissed off that Donald Trump will make a change in the market strategy of economy, the trade practices of the economy, all the tariffs and shit. And then we get pissed off at the trade practices. It's going to cost everything to cost more because the company is going to offset the expenses onto the customer. No, the only reason we can offset the inflated cost on the company to the customer is because the customer is willing to pay the cost for the product. That's the only reason. Y'all would get a whole lot further if y'all put more y'all time, effort, and money into spending y'all money more wisely. That's one of the biggest reasons why we were talking about the show today. We were talking about this because the girl tax isn't just about the money. It's about the emotional toll that you women are feeling like you're always paying more just for being yourselves, because you really are. Constantly being charged more can make women and girls feel undervalued and unseen. And the financial strain can lead to stress, anxiety, and even depression, especially for single mothers and low-income families. But there's also power in knowing that you guys are not alone in this. By sharing your stories and supporting each other, we can push for a different change in society where you guys don't have to spend as much money on just being your natural selves. Now, for those of you that are always interested in a change, I got nothing for you, because you've got to pay for convenience in life. You've got to pay for convenience in life. But again, there's no convenience in being a woman. So why is there an inflated cost in the products? The benefit that you girls have is that guys pay for a lot of your stuff. But I mean, that comes with the headache of having to be attached to a guy that you might not actually be interested in because he's the one that's spending the money. Friend zone. Hashtag friend zone. Hashtag high school crush. So how has the girl tax affected you, your self-esteem, or your mental health? Because if you ladies feel uncomfortable, or even if you feel comfortable, I want you guys to share your experience and let me know about how this situation has negatively impacted y'all throughout the years. Because the girl tax is real, it is measurable, and it's very costly. And this is a part of life for women and those men who support their women. It's not just about a few extra dollars. It's about hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime, $250,000 to $500,000 over a lifetime, and the emotional and financial strain that comes with the burden of paying all that money. So here's another thing, ladies. I really want y'all to really rethink this position when you find that guy that is willing to pay for all of your feminine expenses, you need to give him 20 to 40% extra validation and appreciation, recognizing that him buying it for himself is 40% cheaper than him buying it for you. So just because he bought himself one and he bought you one that was the girl version, you understand that he paid way more to get you the exact same one that he's got. Hands down, go look at the cell phones. The rose gold iPhone might cost more. The pretty one costs more. The standard one doesn't. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? And we paying shit tons of money just because it looked cute. Now look at the price of them cell phones though. Look at the price of them cell phones. A lot of y'all want to upgrade to a new cell phone, the iPhone 16, almost $2,000, $1,600 something, right? Law say that they only supposed to sell it to you for about $700. But because they put you on an 18-year contract and they waive 80% of the cost of the phone, instead of you paying the $1,500 out the gate, you pay $600. They call that taxes. That ain't fucking taxes. That's the damn price of the damn phone. Then they're gonna prorate it and add it to the bill as a credit. They just charge you $600 because that's how much the damn phone costs. Y'all got to understand what marketing is. Ladies, y'all gonna spend way too much money if y'all not paying attention to marketing. Try this. 40% off. It ain't 40% off. That's its regular price. They charge 40% more before, and then when they couldn't sell the shit, they brought it back down to its base price because they're still going to turn a profit off of it. Every car that you buy from the dealership has a $3,000 grace period for the commission for the seller of the car. Then it has an extra $5,000 for amenities that come with the car standard. Then there is another $5,000 to $10,000 inflated cost that they try to get you to buy. That is the sticker price. Now, think about this. When you go to the dealership to go and buy you a new car, the promotions they have when they can't sell that car, they take that $8,000 off the price of the car because the car wasn't worth that to begin with. They give you a $800 credit towards the value of your car, and then they might incentivize it, give you 7 years because you're going to pay for it in interest, but they're going to reduce the cost of your car where you're now only paying about $6,000 more than the MSRP of the car. That's how much the fucking car costs to begin with. The person that sold you the car still got the $3,000 because who's paying the freight cost? You. What's the freight cost? The cost for the dealership to ship the car to the dealership. If that was the case, bro, you could have told me where they dropped the car off at the dock, take the $2,000 off of it. I'll go get the car and drive it back to my house. Save me $2,000 for the convenience of it to be the only one here. And it's not even the fucking one that I wanted. It's just the one that you had that was in line with the budget that I had. I said Mother's Day and Valentine's Day flowers are so expensive. Yeah, look. Hold on. Valentine's Day is supposed to be a gender neutral holiday. So why the hell does Valentine's Day cost as much as Mother's Day? And Valentine's Day has turned into men spending all of their money on women, and the women aren't required to spend the same quantity of money to reciprocate with the men in the same day. Then Father's Day, which comes right after Mother's Day, is all about the man cooking for himself and his homeboys, watching football on hopefully his day off. And the best thing he gets that day is a gosh dang tie. What deals do you see on Father's Day? What deals do you see on Father's Day? Think about this, ladies. This isn't about the fact that men are not valued as much as women or anything to that effect. Think about the cost here. Roses are $50 to $75 a piece. You start getting a bushel of them for $250 for a bunch of flowers that's going to die in less than 2 weeks. You're talking about dinners out or a few $100s for the dinner, reservation, $60 down plus the cost of being there. You know, all the chocolate fountain, fondue spots, and all of this other shit where you really could have just melted you a box of Hershey's chocolate at the house for $20 and did the exact same chocolate fountain thing at the house. You could have made it more erotic and poured chocolate all over each other and did something nasty with it and not had to spend $300 at the damn restaurant, but you did $300 at the restaurant so that you can watch chocolate get all over the place at the restaurant and not have to clean it up. And think about how expensive this is for Valentine's Day and then for Mother's Day. And look at the Mother's Day deals. The Mother's Day deals are not even the same. It's golden necklaces and diamond earrings and rings, 20 karat, not 20, 14 karat gold rings, 12 karat gold rings, 5 karat gold rings. This is what they're discounting. Jewelry. What are they discounting on Father's Day? Lawnmowers, axes, hammers, power tools, the barbecue grills, which go on sale again for Labor Day and go on sale again for Veterans Day and go on sale again for President's Day. So really, they're just getting rid of whatever didn't get sold for summer sale because the barbecue grills go on sale for summer break. You got barbecue grills on sale right now. Right? But it's the Father's Day, get it while you can deal. Really? Now, let me ask you ladies a real question, because y'all like the flowers, y'all like the chocolates, y'all like the dinner. We like beer, we like liquor. We like our women in attractive lingerie. Why do they not have women's clothes on a discount for Father's Day? Why do they not have beer on a discount for Father's Day? Why do they not have liquor on a discount for Father's Day? Everything that a man wants is full price. Everything that a woman needs from a man is reduced. The tools that he needs to fix whatever you want fixed for Father's Day. But everything that a woman wants is discounted for Mother's Day and Valentine's Day. It is marketing, because if you want it, he'll buy it. That's what it's all about, marketing. If he wants it, he'll buy it for himself. Some women might buy it for the man, but women buy their husband than what the women buy for themselves. And more men buy for their girlfriends and their wives than what the men buy for themselves. So advertisement is to target women, and the extra cost of advertisement to target the women is offset in the product's price, which means that women pay more money to waste money. Isn't that interesting? Basically, I said, not to mention, women are making more money than men more than ever before. Oh, yeah. I just want to point this out because I know a lot of women say that there's a wage gap. And ironically, there is still a gap in income based on career choice. However, if a woman gets a job in the same field as a man, she will be promoted to a management position before the man, because while they're doing away with race bias affirmative action, they are not doing away with gender bias affirmative action. So while a black man will not get promoted because he's black, a woman will get promoted because they don't have enough women in the managerial positions. So women have better opportunities to make more money than men if they get into a career path that is male driven. But a lot of women want easy, light duty work. So they choose jobs that don't require a lot of physical strength. It does not require a lot of mental strength. And those types of jobs don't always pay a lot of money. Teachers don't make a lot of money. Nurses don't make a lot of money. Doctors make money. Surgeons, anesthesiologists make money. But not a lot of women are going to be a surgeon. Tech companies make a lot of money. Not a lot of women are going into tech companies. You know, engineers make a lot of money, but not a lot of women are going to be engineers. They're going to be and health fitness trainers. A man can be a health instructor where a woman can be a health instructor and make more money in the gym teaching women and men how to stay fit. A man can't put on some tight clothes and go into a gym and get a bunch of men and women to stay fit. But health and fitness instructors don't pay as much money as other areas. And the women are upset because they go to college, they get these 4 and 6 year degrees, and when they come back from these 4 and 6 year degrees, they got a $42,000 a year job where they're making less than the man that they don't value, that's making $45,000 to $52,000 a year before the age of 40. Then after the age of 40, women are making 45 to 50,000 and the men are making 55 to 60,000, but the women still don't value that man because he's not making 100,000. All I got to say, he says 3 degrees, Xander, is very knowledgeable. It is. I got 3 degrees, but do you think that I'm going to meet a woman with 5 degrees and 6 different languages and value her more than a woman that has no degrees that's willing to aid me in my ability to be successful? If I'm trying to make it a millionaire, 450. A woman with 5 degrees that's not willing to cooperate with me to be a millionaire is not as valuable to me with a woman with no degrees that's willing to cooperate with me with getting to be a millionaire. Because a man doesn't want a woman based on her knowledge. Street smarts is good because if you're self-sufficient, you can hold the fort down until I get there. That makes you valuable. If you can change your own tire, that makes you valuable. But at the same time, you're not valuable if you can't do this by yourself. Women believe that they need to be independent where they don't need a man. So they're going to project their value by saying, I don't need you. A man is duty bound. You need him so that you don't got to do it. Doesn't mean that you can't do it. You don't want to do it. That's why you got him. So you are supposed to utilize him for what he is duty bound to, which is you. You appreciate and you value your man by having him open that damn jar of pickles, not because you can't open it, but because he can. You don't get him to help you move heavy stuff because you can't do it. You get him to help you move heavy stuff because he can move heavy stuff. You don't get him to go and check out your car and make sure that your car is running good because you don't know anything about cars. You get him to go out there and check on your car and make sure that your car is good because he can go out there and check on your car and make sure that your car is running good. It's not because women don't get men because women are incompetent. Women get men because the men are competent. So, as I've told you guys before, is that a man that is on your level is a man that can do for you what you can do for yourself. And then you allow him to do for you what you could do for yourself. So you no longer have to do that. That man is valuable to you. And his duty and his purpose in life is now to do for you what you used to do for yourself. Now, your duty and purpose in life for him is to aid him in being more financially successful, because if you get a man who would share his estate with you, in order for him to have more money to share with you, you have to help him make more money. So no, it doesn't matter if her looks are a 10, which is a lie. It at best be an 8 or 9. But if her looks were a 10, she's got 3 degrees, 5 degrees. She's got more degrees than I do. She's got 5 degrees. She's a Fortune 500 real estate investment broker or some shit, right? She could be making 100,000 a year, 200,000 a year, 500,000 a year. Will I value her more than the girl that you and I was talking about earlier that walked outside barefoot with the Fruit of Balloon t-shirt, but she's willing to get out there and help me change my oil? She's out there jacking up the car while I'm changing out the CV joint. She's pulling the chair, the tire out of the trunk, getting the jumper cables out. You know, if she's going to be useful, if I'm trying to fix this car and she's going to get out there and help me fix that car, I would prefer the girl walking outside with the Fruit of Balloon t-shirt with no shoes on than I would with the Fortune 500 girl that's too pretty for that because she don't want to break her fake nails. The one that is valuable is the one that's willing to do stuff that does not cost money. So her career is not important. Her effort is important. Women are valued based on their attitude and their partnership and their cooperation skills. So women put all of this extra effort into how beautiful they look. But if you put all that time, by the time you finish putting on your makeup, sweetheart, I would have rotated the tires. If you'd have put your hair in a ponytail and came outside as is, helped me rotate the tires first, and then went and took a shower, you would have got the business by the time you got out the shower. You didn't have to put no makeup on. You didn't have to do nothing with your hair and nails and everything like that. And we're setting up this idea that person after person, year after year, generation after generation, women are encouraging other women to focus only on themselves. Girl power, right? Female pack mentality is that women will work together to keep all women single and focus on just women. But when will women start recognizing that it costs y'all way more money to be selfish, thinking only about yourselves? Because today's show, 2 hours long, y'all just sat here and learned that y'all can save 40% of y'all money just by shopping the way men shop. And then if you're a partner with the man, he gonna pay for it all, which saves you 40% increase on what you would have been spending. Which technically, ladies, remember I told y'all, if y'all are $50,000-$60,000 a year women, and 41% of the money that you would have spent on yourself is coming from your boyfriend or your husband, that means that you still got 59% of your money still in your dang pocket, right? So you made almost 50 grand. You should have almost 30 grand still in your pocket, right? Don't that Bayside, that go right back to that dynamic I said, where a woman could date a man that's paying for damn near everything, and she could take $40,000 a year and put away, and she could turn that $40,000 into $1 million in 5 to 10 years. All she got to do is just stick with a man that's responsible, that respects her, appreciates her, values her, and he don't fuck up the money, and she take all the money she ain't got to spend, and she invest that money. They'll be millionaires living a high life, and then you can waste the profits on all the stuff that you want to buy, because you're getting a couple $100 a year off of the profits from the investments. Most people stay broke because men waste their money on women, and women waste their money on stuff they don't need. Women do not waste their money on men, but statistically, women are more financially strapped than men are. No matter whether or not a woman makes more money than a man or not, man still has more savings than a woman does, partially because of this pink tax. But when are we going to make that change, ladies? When are we going to make that change? I'm just trying to figure it out. So real quick, there is hope. If we start raising awareness, you guys start sharing stories and advocating change, you can start to level the playing field just a little bit. And I want you guys to ask yourselves, what's one thing you'll do different after listening to today's podcast? Share some of your stories in the comments in the comment section. With that being said, because we got something to do in the next 15 minutes, I want to thank you guys for coming to the show. Thank you for joining this journey into the hidden cost of being a girl, because this shit costs a lot of money for the ladies. The girl tax is real, but together we can still fight it. I want you guys to make sure that you put extra time even after the show to show your support, share your stories about pricing, about the demand for change, and let's make sure that the next generation of girls don't got to go through what we're going through right now, just for being themselves. Now, don't forget that you guys check on some of the other episodes that we're going to be dealing with, because we still got shows like the toxic relationships, financial independence, and plenty of more topics that we talk about throughout the week. Tomorrow we have the members only show for Sunday. That's going to be doing questions and comments from the fans. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure that you share it with somebody that you know that can use it, somebody that you know that can argue against it, and keep that conversation going, because I respond to a majority of the messages that I get, as long as they're positive. Even if it's a controversial message. So even if I disagree with what they said, I respond appropriately to all most of the messages within 24 hours of recognizing that it's there. So keep the conversation going. Make sure that you guys add your input into the show, and make sure that you guys like and subscribe as you come along, because you guys will get a lot more information just like this, things that we did not know, that's day-to-day operations that's negatively impacting our success. And I want to encourage you guys to take this knowledge, do your own research, After you verify that everything I told you is true, then I want you to put that information into a situation that benefits you in a way where you can start making better decisions that will positively improve your way of life. Because we can't just say, oh, life sucks and everything is too expensive, when ladies, y'all can save 40% just by buying male brands of the same stuff. Men can't get it no cheaper, but ladies, y'all can get it cheaper. So this one was for y'all. So as long as the situation doesn't make sense, ladies, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. And again, fellas, we're about a 75% male-driven podcast from the male perspective. I want to give a special shout out to Bayside, Mr. Satellite, Usman, Nico, Reese Martinez, Max Opposer, Joe is father, Danny Steffen from Twitter, Red Void from Twitter, Dan from Twitch. I really appreciate you guys. Oh, I said that backwards. Danny Steffen is from Twitch and Dan is from Twitter. Either way it goes, I really appreciate you guys from coming to the show from Twitch and Twitter. I really appreciate everybody that took the time to hang out here from the shorts reel over on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys for coming. I want you guys to make sure that you put some extra effort into liking the show and then subscribing to the channel so that you can get those push notifications. Follow us if you're not on YouTube. Follow us on whatever platform you're watching us on, but also go and follow us over on YouTube so you can get that push notification when we go back on. Remember, on our way out the door tonight, any comments that go up onto the show during the outro is going to be put up onto the screen as long as it's appropriate. And remember that we're starting about the same time every night. We typically really close to around about 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys want to come to the show and be here at the very beginning of the show, try to swing around close to 11:30, 11:45. But if you show up at midnight Eastern Time, which is 11 o'clock Central Time, then by all means, tap dance on in here and get involved with some of these conversations, because we're live 7 nights a week and we don't let the sun rise without going live. So you're going to note that we're always going to have something to talk about, and we're always going to have something that you guys are going to benefit from. With that being said, I want to thank you one more time for coming to the show. I'm your host, Xander, for This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not mounted on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground.